Hello everyone, it's Katie, the CSA coach with Shared Legacy Farms. Today we are doing a tutorial on summer squash. The most common variety is zucchini, which I've got here in front of me. I'm just going to take a second to sign in on my phone. This video is live in our CSA Facebook group, and so that way I will be able to see if anyone has any questions. Alright, so this is a great veggie, but it's one that people can kind of get overwhelmed with this time of year just because we tend to get so much of it. But the good news is there's a large variety of ways that you can use it in your kitchen. So it's okay. I mean, it's okay to get a lot of it. It goes well with a lot of different dishes. So this is probably one of the more common varieties. This is just like a larger green zucchini. Sometimes they're a little bit smaller, yellow or green. There's another variety which I forgot to grab this week at my CSA pickup called Cadie pan, which usually is yellow, sometimes has a little bit of green on it still, but it looks more like a saucer. And for the most part, they can all be used interchangeably when we're looking at a lot of recipes, although Cadie pan, you can't really spiralize, and we'll talk about that. And a lot of times the larger ones are going to be better for baking. But other than that, if we're talking about grilling or sauteing or roasting, pretty much can use any of them. So when you get zucchini home, it usually stores for about a week to 10 days. You want to store it in your crisper drawer. I like to store it in a bag. I have tried storing it in the crisper drawer without a bag, and for some reason it just didn't keep as long for me. So you could store it in a traditional Ziploc or one of these fun green bags that help to trap ethylene gas from vegetables and sometimes can prolong the shelf life a little bit longer. So no need to wash or anything like that when you get home. You can just take them, pop them in a bag, and that is pretty much it. Throw them in your drawer. When you go to use them, you just want to wash them off well if they have any like little pricklies on them still. And then you are going to chop off the end pieces, and you can then dice, chop, grate, whatever you're going to use the zucchini for. So chopped off the ends, I'm going to compost these. I do not put these in my veggie scrap bag to make broth. Zucchini tends to make a more bitter broth and can make it look really cloudy. So I don't tend to put the ends in the broth. So we're gonna do a couple different ways of using zucchini today. So it can be eaten raw or cooked. It's really great actually just like grilled or roasted with a little bit of oil, salt, and pepper. It's great in a lot of sheet pan meals that calls for some veggies. It doesn't take a long time to roast like potatoes or Brussels sprouts or some of those root veggies, usually just like 20 minutes or so. Another popular thing that some people in our CSA group have been doing is stuffing zucchini. So I had a larger zucchini here, and I just used a spoon to scoop out some of those center seeds to kind of give me like a little bowl here. Now some people, if you Google stuffed zucchini, there are going to be a ton of recipes that come up. Some people use like a beef and a rice, some people use more like a corn, black bean, like a Mexican thing with it. There's a ton of great ideas, and it's pretty easy to create this little bowl. So when you scoop it out, you just want to make sure that you leave some of the ends here, so that way it can kind of hold all your toppings. Today I'm not stuffing these with anything fancy. I'm actually just going to use some Parmesan cheese and some herbs. And I'm going to end up slicing them up thin and kind of using them as a little bit of an appetizer. So I just want to get these started right now so that way we can see how they finish. I've got my oven preheated to 350. I'm going to use these two guys right here. And then I've just got some Parmesan cheese, and I am going to throw in a little bit of rosemary and thyme. I'm using dried because I just had a little bit left and I figured I was going to use it up. So in here I've just got some fresh Parmesan cheese, rosemary and thyme. Coated these with a little bit of olive oil. So let's put these on my tray right here. And I'm just going to sprinkle these and kind of fill them a little bit with the Parmesan. If this was going to be more of like a main entree, the ground beef or sausage, or even like a heartier black bean rice dish is really nice. That kind of stuff. So those look pretty good. I'm going to put a little bit of salt and pepper on top. Why not, right? And I'm just going to pop these in the oven for probably 10 to 15 minutes. We're going to bake them or roast them. Put my timer on. About 12 minutes. All right. So other ways that you can cook zucchini, you can roast it, obviously. Just slice it up in larger pieces. You can grill it. You can steam it. You can make veggie pancakes. I will link our tutorial on bunching onions because we actually use carrots, shredded zucchini, and bunching onions to make a really delicious, easy veggie pancake. Sheet pan meals I mentioned. Pasta dishes. Zucchini goes really well with pasta dishes. So just cutting it up into like half moons and adding it to like a linguine dish. Most pasta dishes will accept zucchini fairly well. I even like to throw a little bit extra if I have it around into my spaghetti sauce. So you can always kind of add it to a recipe that way. Another fun, popular thing to do with zucchini is to spiralize it. And this is a spiralizer. And when you spiralize zucchini, some people like to eat it cooked, other people like to eat it raw. Today we're going to make a raw salad with spiralized zucchini. I'm running out of room today here. So this spiralizer that I have here actually has a lot of different blades on it. So you can kind of pick, it has like half moon ones. I made a few like that if you wanted a salad where you can make like half moons. Some people use this to make spiralized potatoes, beets, sweet potatoes, root veggies work really, really well in a spiralizer. But it really gained its popularity from the zucchini. So I do have one of the smaller blades on here that kind of cuts it off. And we're going to make a cold caprese salad. So I wanted these really small, and I don't necessarily need them really long and all attached. They also have smaller varieties of spiralizers. I think it's called a veggetti. I also have one of those. It just tends to take a little bit longer. It's more like a handheld version. So this end here, you can obviously just eat if you want to, because I'm not going to throw it in my broth bag. And then I've got these fun kind of chopped up noodle pieces because I used one of the finer blades. So the most common thing to do with zoodles or spiralized noodles is to use it as like a pasta substitute. So instead of using like a linguine or an angel hair pasta with like a white wine dish or a shrimp dish or some sort of stir fry, is to sub in either all zoodles or maybe to use half and half. I think that's a great idea. I know a lot of people who are trying to watch their waistlines or maybe trying to get more veggies in and they're not really sure how, so sometimes having the spiralizer can be a fun thing or a fun way to incorporate more veggies into your family's life. So when people ask me about my favorite kitchen equipment, sometimes that's one of them because I feel like it's fun, it's something different, it allows you a little bit more variety in the kitchen with some of your veggies. I have some people that said it's made a huge difference, than other people that maybe they don't get it out as much, but I really like the spiralizer. So we could easily saute these in a little bit of olive oil, salt and pepper, add in some other veggies if we wanted. Pesto goes fantastic with zoodles, so I know we use a lot of pesto here in our CSA program. You just want to be cautious. They release a lot of water when you cook them, so you really only need to cook for a few minutes. So if you're adding other things into the skillet, you want to do that first and probably add the zoodles last. Today I'm using these with a raw salad, so I actually have a little bit of chopped up basil that we got this week in our box. I just chopped that up finely. I've also got some fresh mozzarella. I'm not going to cut those up because I got these like larger pieces. What I did forget from the store were the cherry tomatoes. I can't wait until we get tomatoes in our CSA program, but we didn't get any, and so I needed to get some, and I totally forgot about it. So that is two things that I forgot today. You'll have to wait and see what the other one is. So this still needs some tomatoes, and I'm gonna kind of have to go back and get. So I really just have some basil, fresh mozzarella, the zoodles. I'm going to add in some cherry tomatoes after I get them from the store. And then when I go to serve it, I'm just going to top it with some olive oil and probably a little balsamic vinegar. Super, super easy. Once I get those tomatoes in here, it's going to look a little bit more colorful. But this is a really healthy, fun spin on a caprese salad that most of your guests will enjoy, or your family will think is kind of fun to eat the zoodles. So zoodles are great. You can eat them cooked or raw. The other thing that you can do with zucchini, because I know some people are sick of cooking it, having the zoodles, that type of thing, is you can actually make like a spin on hummus. So you can make a zucchini dip. And we are going to do that real quickly. Do have a lid. So I've just got a little bit of olive oil here heating up in this pan. And we will have our ebook available in the comments of this video. So you can get all this information, storage, varieties, in addition to some more recipes. So this zucchini dip, we need one large zucchini, which we have, and I'm not even peeling it, or probably two smaller. You could use the yellow or the green. I'm not peeling it because the skin gets super, super soft, so usually there's no reason to have to peel the zucchini most of the time. I'm just going to stir this up a little bit to get the olive oil to kind of coat it. This actual recipe is in our CSA program's newsletter this week, but it is also from the book Kitchen Matrix from Mark Bittman, which is a really great basic cookbook that really categorizes things by different veggies. So if you look in his book, it's called Kitchen Matrix. You could look up zucchini and he'll give you 12 or 24 ways sometimes to prepare it, both raw and cooked. So this zucchini dip was actually from one of his zucchini ways in that recipe. All right, so zucchini dip, we will wait for that to cook a little bit. The other thing is some people get really overloaded with zucchini is that you can freeze or preserve it if you want to. Because of the moisture content, it isn't ever going to thaw out to be crunchy again to probably use in a spiralizer or something like that. But you can blanch it to freeze it. So we do have videos on blanching. You would boil some salt water, chop up the zucchini into like half moon pieces like I did for the dip, boil them for a minute, maybe a little bit longer, followed by an immediate ice bath. And then you'd allow them to freeze completely on a cookie sheet, and then you could transfer them to a Ziploc bag. So you can blanch and freeze zucchini. If you're a fan of zucchini bread, we have zucchini bread. You can make zucchini muffins. Those are pretty popular in my house, especially if you throw a banana in there. You can also grate your zucchini to freeze. So if you've never made zucchini bread before, I would highly recommend it. You can get a cup or 2 cups of zucchini sometimes in a loaf or in some muffins, which is going to be like an entire zucchini. So in order to make the muffins or bread, you just have to grate it. I actually today used this hand grater. It's pretty simple to use. You can also use a food processor. So you can grate it up like this to make your bread or muffins. You can also freeze it this way. So in order to freeze it to make some bread later, you really have to wring out some of the moisture in the zucchini. So I'm doing this summer because I do have some extra zucchini. And I do have a zucchini bread recipe that I like. So you can see how much moisture, how much water is in there. So you're going to do this before you freeze it, if you're freezing it for bread and muffins later. And then when you let it thaw out, you are also going to have to wring it out again. All right. So I've got lots of water out of that. The recipe that I use, and I will share it in the comments. I need to remember, make sure I share all these in the comments. The recipe that I use calls for about 1.5 cups of zucchini. So I am going to freeze these in 1.5 cup portions. Ooh, good tip from one of our CSA members. Elizabeth says that shredded zucchini and shredded carrots are interchangeable in baking. That is awesome to know. I would love to make like half zucchini, half carrot. So, perfect. All right, we've got 3 different things going on right now. So let's check out these stuffed zucchini boats. They are looking pretty good. I'm just going to broil them for a couple minutes here. I'm going to keep a close eye on them. Give this just maybe 1 minute stir. That's almost done. All right, so I'm going to freeze the zucchini in about 1 cup to 1.5 cup portions, which looks like this entire zucchini pretty much is just going to give me one of my loaves here, which is fine. I thought it would kind of give me almost 2, but yeah, it's about 1.5 cups. So I've got most of the moisture out of this, and then I will label this bag and be able to make some Shared Legacy Farm zucchini bread or muffins this winter. So once I freeze it, it's going to be good for at least 6 months, if not closer to 8 to 12 months. So in December or January, hopefully you'll see me making some zucchini bread. All right. Let's get our going our dip. All right, so for our dip, you'll need some sort of like food processor. I'm just using this Magic Bullet today. So we've got our 1 large zucchini, just cooking a little bit of olive oil. I didn't add anything else to it. We're going to use that. We're going to use about 3 tablespoons of olive oil. So I've got a little bit left in here. Three tablespoons of olive oil. And then sometimes you'll find when you're making dips like this, you might need to add a little bit more oil or a little bit more water to it after you kind of start pureeing it. We've got a 1/4 cup of lemon juice. So I've just got some lemon juice in here. 1 clove of garlic. So I've got my 1 clove of Assured Legacy Farms garlic here that I pulled out of my freezer that I had frozen earlier on in the season when we got fresh garlic. What I did forget for this recipe, I said I forgot 2 things today. I did forget pine nuts. So normally we'd want to put like a 1/2 cup of pine nuts in here. I tried looking for cashews and macadamia nuts because I was just going to sub out something because I'm more than okay with subbing out things. But I couldn't find any either. So I'm going to see how this goes without using any pine nuts. But I will tell you that technically those should be in there. And it adds a really nice kind of nutty taste to the dip. So I did forget those. Alright, zucchini there is almost done. These are done and they look amazing. So these were just our Parmesan and herb zucchini boats here. Boats. Nice and crispy. So we just baked those or roasted those for, I had them on there at 350 for about 12 minutes, and then I broiled them for the last few minutes to kind of finish off the top. So I'm going to slice those up thin and use that as like a fast, quick little appetizer, or even like a snack. But like I said, Google stuffed zucchini. We've got a great stuffed zucchini recipe in our ebook too, so you'll have to check that out. So we've got stuffed zucchini done, and then we've got this zucchini pretty well softened. Some of the larger pieces I cut up there aren't super soft, and ideally I would let this cool a little bit before I started working with it, but it will be okay. So you could have cooked the zucchini for this dip however you wanted to. If you had leftover roasted zucchini, this would be a great thing to kind of do with your leftovers. Or steamed zucchini. So a different spin on zucchini leftovers, I guess. I'm not a fan of eating cooked zucchini when it's leftover, so this would be something I would like to do. Alright, so we've got our 3 tablespoons of olive oil, 1/4 cup of lemon juice. We're missing our pine nuts. We've got our 1 zucchini. And then we're just going to add a couple tablespoons of tahini, which is like a sesame seed butter. You could also make your own. Gonna wipe this out a little bit because I've got some olive oil in there. Alright, so a couple tablespoons of tahini. I might end up using a little bit more tahini because I did forget those pine nuts. So we'll see how this turns out. always have trouble getting this open. Oh, so this is hot. Obviously, we want to let this cool, but this smells really, really good. I'll put some in this bowl here. So it might even have been a little bit, it's not super runny. I thought it would be without the pine nuts, but it's like a hummus consistency. It looks really good. It's hot, but yeah, super good even without the pine nuts. Can use a little bit of salt, but that's perfect, and that was super easy. So we got leftover steamed zucchini. Puree it with a little lemon juice, tahini, and olive oil. You're good to go. So I'm excited about this because I love veggie dips that are made of veggies. So you can scoop some cucumbers into your veggie dip and just get even more vegetables in. So fantastic. Make the dip. All right. Well, that is it for today. I hope that you got some other ideas and ways to use summer squash in your kitchen. Thank you for joining us. If you joined us, check out our ebook in the comments below. Again, this is Katie, the CSA coach for Shared Legacy Farms, and thank you so much for watching.